Hello, everyone. My name is Marcel ESCHWE, and last year I finished my master in finance at Catholic Lisbon. And before that, I did a bachelor in international management. I did it in my hometown, which is Augsburg in Germany. And currently, I'm working and living in Munich as a transaction consultant at EY Parthenon. So after defending my thesis last year, my thesis advisor, Zoe Venter, pointed out that there is this thesis competition. And when I looked into it, I found the theme to be very interesting. And I found that it matches the topic of my thesis very well. So this motivated me to apply and participate. And yeah, I'm very glad I did. So the topic of my thesis, or the name of my thesis, is Shades of Green. And it's about a simple question. It's about the relationship, basically, between ESG scores and stock returns. And the thesis does ask the question, or you could say it asks the question, if it pays to be green. So I'll define the key terms here. An ESG score is a rating for a company in three dimensions: environmental, social, and governance. And with each of these dimensions, there are certain qualitative and quantitative factors. And then at the end, there's going to be a final score for E, S, and G. And this score is then combined into an ESG score. And there is no standardized way for it. So it's a very recent data point. It's a bit of a fuzzy one. So it's always hard to get ESG data. And on the other hand, the stock returns basically are just the percentage change in a company's share price in essence. And then I study how these two move together. And a lot of studies before that looked at it in a static and one-directional way. But I found a paper by Shackleton and co-authors who raised the idea that return could actually impact the ESG score. Reverse impact of returns on ESG could be a reason for all of the contradictory results. So my study then aimed to combine this dynamic two-way model, a PVAR model, using global data of more than 6,000 companies from over 52 countries, and from data for more than 2 decades. So there were 3 things that made me choose this topic. While doing research, I found that it's a highly debated question in finance. The whole topic about ESG and stock returns, there is a lot of research on that. And then the second point is that the topic itself is very political. So a lot of people have a lot of, you could say, stigmatized views on that topic, which makes it like a fiercely debated topic. And the third point is that the evidence itself is quite contradictory. So there are a lot of papers and studies that find very different results, or basically that find opposing results. So the biggest challenge was a personal one, because initially I started with a different topic, with a completely different topic. And then after some time, someone close to me challenged me because they saw that I was not really excited about that topic. And at first I didn't see it, but in the end they were completely right. So after some time, basically I started all over again, and I chose the topic that I described. And I was very excited about that topic. So at first it was a really hard decision to change my topic and basically scrape a month of work and start all over again. But in the end, despite it being a long and bumpy road, I think it was definitely worth it to change my topic. So the key findings are there are basically 3 main findings. The first one is that the relationship between ESG and stock returns does indeed run both ways. So higher ESG tends to be followed by lower stock returns in the subsequent year. And on the other hand, previous year bad stock performance leads to an increase in the ESG score in the subsequent year. However, the single ESG score itself hides a lot of the dynamics of that relationship. Why is that? Because E, S, and G individually actually are responsible for the bidirectional impact, but not all of them kind of show the same pattern. So what I mean by this is that E and S carry this negative premium. So an increase in the E and S score or a positive shock leads to a negative shock in stock returns in the next year. And the reverse channel, so the impact of stock returns on ESG, runs through the G dimension. So E and S are not impacted, but previous year bad stock performance leads to an increase in the G score in the next year. And the last finding is that it's of course not a universal rule. So it does depend on market liquidity, and it also depends on active ownership or passive ownership. So it's present in high liquid markets and in markets with low passive ownership. How does my topic connect to sovereignty and independence? On the surface, ESG looks like a free choice, like a company investing in ESG. But that choice is priced by global investors, and especially the E and S dimension show a negative premium. So sustainability itself seems to be a form of dependence. And sovereignty today does not mean, in my view, the absence of dependence, but rather it's about the choice or the clarity, what dependencies are worth it. And so my personal wish is that we or Europe as a whole stands in unity and focuses more on innovation in ESG rather than a purely regulation-driven approach. Where I remember when I got the email, I was super happy. That was a great day for me, and to be honest, I'm still a little bit stunned. So yeah, this has been such a pleasant experience for me. So I want to explicitly say a heartfelt thank you to the Centre des Professions Financières, and of course to Thibaut de Saint-Priest for handing me the prize and for giving or allowing me this huge honor. And I also want to say that the ceremony was a real highlight. So it was very well organized, and the location was great, and it was a very stunning and great evening for me. So one day I hope to start my own company. But before that, I'm focused on expanding my skill set and learning as much as I can. So that's kind of my path right now. As a final word, I would love to encourage basically everyone, of course, master students, to participate in this competition, because it is really a great experience, and it's a chance to have your work seen, and a great way to connect with very skilled people that do research on super interesting topics. So overall, yeah, I can definitely recommend.